Do you run a store on Shopify? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about some alternative payment methods that you can use on your Shopify store so you are not held captive by Shopify Payments. My name is Maria Sparagas, and I help thousands of merchants find scalable and reliable payment solutions for their online businesses. And today I'm going to explore with you what are some alternative payment options to Shopify Payments. Now, you might be listening to this video because Shopify has closed your account and does not allow you to use their payment processing service, but that still leaves you with a store, a perhaps successful store on Shopify that you need to find an alternative payment solution for. Now, let me explain first of all, what is Shopify Payments? Shopify Payments is simply a rebrand, or what we call a white label in the industry, of Stripe. So whether you're using Stripe or Shopify Payments, it's pretty much one and the same thing. It's just that Stripe is allowing Shopify to use their brand for the payment solution on their platform. If you're new to my channel, you can go check out a couple of videos that I have on Stripe because they're all applicable because it's essentially the same thing. I mean, you're using the same provider, whether you're using Stripe or Shopify Payments. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that Stripe is infamous for suspending accounts or holding money, freezing your account because there's some confusion and so forth. So this is actually all applicable to Shopify Payments. I mean, like I said, it's the same provider, it's just a rebrand. And what's a level worse with this is that if there is a shutdown or if there is an account freeze on your Shopify Payments account, well, you have an extra step that you have to take in order to get your account back up and running. Shopify has to speak with Stripe and then kind of come back to you. So you have an extra middleman there in order to get stuff done. So if you are scaling your store and you're at, 10,000 to 15,000 or above per month, you should really be looking for alternative payment solutions so you can avoid any bottlenecks in your business, any account freezes and so forth. And also, when you're working with providers like Stripe or Shopify Payments, you're not working with humans. So if there is a problem, it's very difficult to get a human to actually speak with you. You're usually just getting support online by chat, by bots and so forth. So when your business is scaling at that level, over 6 figures a year and so forth, you really want to start looking at, getting an alternative payment processor that's going to be reliable that you can speak with if there's any issues. Now, I'm going to put a little caveat on that. If you are just starting out your business and you're not even sure if you're going to be able to sell anything or move any inventory and so forth, Shopify Payments and Stripe are actually the best option for you because your first goal here is to make sure that you can actually make a sale. So you don't want to get bogged down by any tech work or applications in order to get a merchant account and so forth. So you want to, sign up to Shopify Payments or Stripe and just use them to see that you're able to make a couple of sales. And once you see your store scaling, like I said, at around $10,000 a month or more, you want to start looking for some alternative payment solutions. Now, I'm going to go over a couple of alternative payment solutions, and I'm going to explain, the confusion that some merchants have and just some questions and things that I see very often. Now, what we see often is, merchants who come to us and say, hey, I'm with Shopify and it seems like I can only use Shopify Payments. So my only option here is to get off Shopify. The answer to that is no, it's not your only option. Shopify actually does support other payment service providers. The only thing is they don't promote it, right? So it's not, it's not something that they want to promote because they do want to force people as much as possible to use Shopify Payments, which is making a lot of income for them. One alternate solution that you see often on Shopify is called Authorize.net. Now, Authorize.net is just a gateway. Let me explain a little bit what a gateway is so you can understand. A gateway is simply a software that is the middle layer, call it, between your website and the actual payment service provider. So the gateway just kind of sits right there in the middle, and it's just a software basically that connects your website, for example, to a bank that's able to process your payment. It doesn't actually do anything other than take credit card information, make sure it's secure, and pass it to another party. And that's what Authorize.net is. So with Authorize.net, you actually have thousands of options for payment service providers. And that's something that a lot of merchants don't realize. They think that Authorize.net is just that one entity and that's the only option that they have. So for example, if you want to use Authorize.net, you can work with a payment service provider or a merchant account provider like DirectPayNet, and we can connect to Authorize.net and get you a merchant account. And there's plenty of other providers out there. So keep in mind that Authorize.net is just a software that connects you to ultimately a provider that you want to use. And most providers in the US and many in Europe are actually connected to Authorize.net. So it makes things super simple, just as easy as it was for you to connect your Shopify Payments account. Once you have Authorize.net up and running, it actually is just as simple to set it up on your Shopify store and get up and running. Now, what you have to do to get Authorize.net up and running as an alternative payment method to your Shopify store is you need to find a merchant account provider, a payment processor, as I said, that will be able to support your business. So you can contact DirectPayNet or another payment service provider and start an application. Now, an application is a little bit different with a merchant services provider than it is with Shopify Payments. There is an actual application that's a couple of pages for us to get to know your business so we are able to support it. Now, the positive side of that is that if you go through that process and you are approved and you're up and running and payment processing, there are less surprises in the end, meaning we will not shut down your account because we don't accept your business or there's a couple of chargebacks or, there's a high sales month and so forth. Whereas Shopify Payments, for example, what they'll do is they'll accept everybody that comes onto their platform. And once you start scaling, that's when they take a closer look at your account and realize, hey, we don't support these type of products. We don't like these services and so on and so forth. So that leads to more issues. So obviously anything that comes easily, as I've said multiple times on my channel, always comes with consequences, especially in the banking world. So what you want to do is you want to set yourself up with a merchant account that will connect to Authorize.net. And then that Authorize.net account actually will plug in very easily to your Shopify store, and you will be up and running in minutes once you have your Authorize.net account. The reason I mention Authorize.net as an alternative payment services provider on Shopify is because it actually allows you to connect to thousands of different merchant services providers, payment processors, and so forth. But if you don't want to go through the application process and you really want to just simplify and maybe have a backup to Shopify Payments, what you want to do is maybe look at a couple of other third-party style payment processors that are available on Shopify. For example, Square is one of them, Klarna, WorldPay, so on and so forth. So if you go into your Shopify store and you go into alternative payment providers, you'll see that there's actually a list of quite a few of them there. As I said earlier, they don't advertise this, but these options are out there for you. And you have to keep in mind that when you're on these software platforms for your store, you are not pigeonholed into one payment solution. And being pigeonholed in a payment solution can actually be very hurtful for your business. So you want to have some backups in place just in case something goes wrong. If you need help or if you have any questions on how to set this up, feel free to drop me a line below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content on how to convert more sales on your online store.